Okay, so hopefully that's all working. Hopefully we are now live. Welcome to my craft room for another Craft with Carol live. I'm going to make a quite simple card today, but I want to discuss ways you can do it with the sort of stash you have. You don't need to have everything that I have in order to do this. So I'll try and get ready. I apologise in advance if my hands start to look dirty. I've tried to clean them, but I've been out gardening all morning. It's been gorgeous. And I needed to finish clearing the patio and cut the edges of the lawn, which I've done. But I don't know, I've tried to clean my hands, but I seem to be still a bit dirty. So apologies about that. So let me, first of all, just pop up my craft desk so you can see that, see what I'm working on. Because the products I'm going to be using today are this set, the Charming Day set, which I just love. It's just gorgeous. It has these lovely images and sentiments, and it comes with a whole load of extra dies with extra flowers that you can cut out and leaves. So that's actually a gorgeous set. I'm using an awful lot of the stamps, as you can see. And I'm also going to use the nested essential dies because we are making, and I've actually made one so I can show you what it looks like. This is the card we're going to make today, and it's just what I call a simple aperture card. So it has, as you can see, a hole in the front. If I open that, you can see the hole. And it shows the image behind, which is printed on the sheet that goes inside the card, but there's still room to write a greeting if you want. So that's what we're going to make, and I'm going to talk about various different things you can do with it. So I put that over there. What am I going to use? Well, I have got an envelope, obviously, and I've very simply got half a sheet of A4 cut in half, long ways. So this piece is 29.6, that's the length of A4, by 10.5. If you're working with US cardstock, that piece is 11 inches and you want to cut it at 4¼ inches. And we're going to score it, and I have already scored this card at 14.8 centimetres. If you're working with US cardstock, score it at 5½ inches. So the first thing I'm going to do is fold and burnish the cardstock, as always. So we've got a nice crisp fold like that. And I've just realised I've forgotten to bring my cut and emboss machine over, so I'll have to go and get that in a minute. So apologies for that. Oh, I haven't got the chat up either. So if you are watching, then please do get it, say where you're watching from and let me know what you're up to at the moment. So that is my not very well folded base. Let me just do that one again. So I just took my eye off it while I was doing it. That's better. So that is my base. Then the other piece you need, very simply, is just an inside piece for the inside of the card, which is going to go here. And this piece is 9.5 tall by 13.8 wide. That's centimetres. If you're working with US cardstock, then you want a piece which is 3¾ inches tall by 5 inches wide. Then I've got also a little tiny bit of scrap just for the sentiment, and my envelope, as I've said. So the first thing to say is you can make this really with any dies. I think these nested essentials are just lovely to make it. They've got such a good range of shapes. So you could use this banner one, sort of like this here. You could use a nested one of these diamond shaped nested essentials. It really depends on what size your image is and which the best shape is to cover your image. So I'm going to use this one, this sort of rounded rectangle die, because it fits best my image. It doesn't fit the whole image, that's not the point of the card, but it would fit that, for example. It would be too big for that image, for example. So it depends what stamp set you're using, what size of die and what shape of die you want to use. But I'm going to use this one, and I think actually I'm going to have it this side. And the beauty of this is you can have it wherever you want. On the card I've just shown you, I had the aperture on the right-hand side, and that means my image is on the right-hand side inside. I'm going to reverse that just to show you how different it is if we put it on the other side. So I think I'm going to have it here. So I need to cut it. Let's take those bits out. Cut it this way round. So I'm going to use a little bit of, if I've got some here, yeah, a little bit of tape just to hold it in place, like that. And we're just going to cut a shape out. So I'm doing it, this card will open like this. So the aperture is going to be towards the left on this side. So I just need to go and get my machine because I have forgotten to get that. Give me a second. Normally I remember and put it on the floor by my desk, but I'd completely forgotten today. So I can just pop it in here, pop the other piece on top, and then we're just going to wind it through. Ooh, showing over the things that are lying on my desk because it's a big machine to put under the thing. So I've just gone forward and back, and I've waited till I heard the clang of it going over this end, so I know that it has cut both sides. So we'll move the machine, just put it down here, back in a minute. And then we'll gently take the tape off and take the shape out. Now, we're not going to use this piece now, so obviously we can keep that for something else because it's got the nice dotted edge from the die. So, something on my card there. I don't know what that was. We'll just brush that off in a minute. Put the die back. So I think these nested essentials are lovely. You could use stylish shapes dies if you wanted a circle. It depends what shape you want to use, and most importantly, it's the one that'll match your image the best. So let me just find that rubber and get rid of whatever that marker is that I've managed to put on. There we go. Yeah, don't know what it was. Anyway, it's gone. Right, so we don't need that piece. That can go in the stock. So on this first card, I actually used the leaf stamp, which is this one here. And I used that just to give a pattern across the front of the card. And I'm going to do the same thing now. So I'm using the same ink as for the colour of the card. It's Shy Shamrock card. And so I'm using Shy Shamrock ink. So we're just going to, it's quite an inky, juicy ink pad. I'm just going to ink this up and just randomly stamp it all over the card. So we will do that. Now you'll see as I get towards the centre here that I am going to actually stamp it so that it goes over the edge. And I'm not worrying if it goes into the middle here because I'm going to have the inside in that card, so it doesn't actually matter. So I'm showing you now what happens. I'm getting bits of my ink inside the card. It doesn't matter because just fill in a couple of the gaps up here, I think. Because I am, there we go, that'll do. Because I'm going to put something inside there, it doesn't matter that I've got bits of ink on there, so I don't need to worry about it going over. You could put it over on, obviously you could put this on a sheet of paper and do it that way if you want, but it's just as easy to do it there. Look how much ink I've got around this stamp. I told you it's a juicy ink pad, it really is. Right. So that is giving me my decoration on the outside of the card, which looks very odd because I've got these bits here. But as I say, this is going to go in there, so it doesn't matter. Right, so now let's do some other stamping. I'll get rid of this and get my memento. There we go. So I'm now going to stamp. I want to stamp this, and I want to stamp it so that it's in the right place. So to do that, I'm going to place the inside card where I want it. So it's got the same border all the way around. Just make sure that is exactly where I want it. There we go. Then I can shut this front and just use my pencil to mark roughly where the gap is. So I'm just putting some little pencil marks on there. So that is where my aperture is going to show through. So now when I'm going to ink up and stamp this like this, I want to make sure it more or less fills that area. So I'm going to ink that up with memento because we're going to colour this. Make sure it's well covered, and then I can just sort of decide which way around I want it. I obviously want something inside as well, so I think I'm going to have it sort of, yeah, about here. So the flowers are sort of in the center here. Some of it's going to go off the side, as you can see. That bit won't be seen, but it won't matter because when it's open we can see that. So that is my, just clean that stamp. As you know, I do like to clean my stamps just after I've used them. I think it keeps them just in tip-top condition. If we let ink dry on them, they're never quite so good. So that is my inked up inside, which we're going to colour. And while I have this out, I am going to do my sentiments, and I'm going to stamp those again in the ink, the same ink as the cardstock, so the Shy Shamrock. So I'm going to use my Thanks for Being You again. And this piece is, I can tell you how big it is because I actually wrote on the back what it was. I'm trying to think. No, can't remember. Did I write on the back? Oh, I did. Sensible me. 4 centimetres by 2.5 centimetres, or 1.5 inches by 1 inch. And that fits the thanks sentiment. Obviously, if you want to use a different sentiment, then choose a piece that's the right size for your sentiment. I think I did the other one in black, actually. It's going to be an awful lot of shamrock on the front there, but never mind. Then I'm going to stamp the You Made My Day, again from the same set, inside the card. Obviously on, oh, that wasn't very straight, never mind. Obviously on the side opposite where my image is, that's why I stamp my image first, so I can get the sentiment in roughly the right place. So that is that. Now I'm going to just get my rubber again, and I'm going to rub out obviously my pencil marks. Could have had that slightly further over, but I do want to leave enough space so that I can write something sensible inside when I actually send the card. So that's got rid of my pencil marks. So now I'm going to colour it, and I'm using fresh freesia, and I'm using a light bubble bath as well because I just like the touch of lightness around the edge of the leaves. So bear with me while I'm doing this. Do let me know, as I say, let me know where you're from and what you're doing today. Are you going to craft along with me? Are you going to try and create something? Talking of craft-alongs, my monthly craft-along is the first Thursday of every month, which means that it is next Thursday. And as long as you're on my email list, you will get the details of what you need to craft along with me and the Zoom link that you need. Check, this is my light one. Yes, it is. And the Zoom link you'll need to come and join me. So I'm just going to colour this very, very roughly. As you can see, I could do it a lot nicer, but it'll just do as it is now. You can take your time over it, obviously. Yes, so if you're on my email list, you will get the emails. Oops, didn't do that bit. You will get my email with all of the stuff that you need, the list of supplies that you need to come and join me next week. I am actually making another. It's not an aperture card, but it sort of looks a bit like one. I don't know. Probably doesn't explain it very well. But I'm using circular dies, and I'm going to teach you how to make a frame for your circular dies. So if you're interested in that, please do come and join me in my craft along. So I'm just going to do a little bit of shadowing around here. Add some more colour to the centre of the flower. Making this one a bit darker. It's going to be mainly in the shadows, so that's probably better. Right. Stop fiddling with it. Just do it, Carol. There we go. Oh, and I should have stamped my, when I'm thinking about it, I have this smaller flower, which I'm going to use on here, but I'm going to colour it in the same way. So let me stamp that on the envelope, and then I can do that colouring at the same time. So just in the corner of the envelope. I love this Charming Day set. It's just beautiful. If you've got it, then let me know, because I think it is the best set in the catalogue, actually. I really like it. It does have some nice paper as well. So it's not quite the same flower, but I'm doing it in the same sort of colours so that it all matches for the recipient. No idea if some of the recipients actually notice these sorts of things, but I know, so that's the most important thing. And if I know it's right, then I'm happy. I try not to spend too much time colouring envelopes because it does the blends do show through the envelopes. That's why I do prefer often to use Stampin' Right markers on the envelopes. And obviously you can't blend the colours quite so well, but it is worth it because it's So I'm quite sad that they're getting rid of stamping right markers, actually, because I do use them a fair bit and I really like having them because they're so useful. Although getting rid of cling stamps, one of the great benefits of stamping right markers is being able to colour on those cling stamps. And because cling stamps are going as well, then I think perhaps Stampin' Up decided that it was time to get rid of the stamping right markers. But I'm sad about that because I shall miss them. So I'm just adding a little bit of shading to the leaves using the darker Shy Shamrock. And we will do the leaves on this one. Probably should have done some of this ahead of time, shouldn't I? Because it's going to take a little bit of time. It's a bit boring watching people colouring, but I shall do this as quickly as I can. Obviously, if you're making a similar card, then please do take more time than me. Check the chat. Nobody's put anything in the chat. I'm hoping somebody is there watching, but as I say, you can use any die and any shape to make these very simple aperture cards. It just depends what image you want to use, but they're very effective cards. And the bonus is you get the aperture cut out, die cut out to use on another card. So you get a 2 for the price of 1 type card, this one, which is what I quite like. And you can use obviously any greens you want. That's probably the wrong side for that shading, but never mind. That leaves completely in the shade, so I'll put a lot of shading in that one. Just trying to imagine where, when you're doing the shading, it's just about trying to imagine where the light is coming from and therefore where the shadow is. I think that will do, actually. I'm quite pleased with those. So there is my coloured, very quickly coloured flower and leaves, and my slightly wonky sentiment, but we'll live with it. We'll live with it. So if you're buying something from me and get this one, then I'm sorry that it's a bit wonky. Never mind. So to finish the card, I am going to just stick this inside. Making sure it's got the same border all the way around. And there we have our second aperture card. So it just remains to stick this on. I'm going to stick this on probably in the middle there with some dimensionals. Still using the ends of my dimensionals, but that's fine. Have that there. Thanks for being you. And it's a nice little end. I'm going to show a little trick with ribbon. So when I'm tying my ribbon bows, I use my bunny ear method. So I put 2 loops around a finger, and then I can cross the loops over and pass it through. And it ties a nice bow, which you can adjust to whatever size you want it to be. I'll have my bow bits a little bit smaller. And then just tighten it again. And it makes a nice, quite flat bow, which I rather like. And then with my ribbon scissors, I'm going to cut the ends so that they form a sort of flag shape. So to do that, I'm going to fold the ribbon or hold it in half and then cut diagonally. And it gives me a jagged sort of flag shape at the end. And if I can hold it better, it will be an even better shape than that first one. That's better. So you can see I've got a little sort of jagged end there, which I rather like. Bring it up to the camera so you can see it. So just a different way to cut ribbons. And I'm going to add this on just with some glue dots. I've got these glue dots that I've saved from one of my kits. Didn't use all the glue dots, so hey, keep them to use on other projects. That's what I say. It means I can be quite profligate with them. I'm going to put quite a few dots on there so it will hold it down properly. And take the tops off, fiddly bit. And then I can stick my ribbon down to that and it will hold it. So thanks for being you with my ribbon. And then just to finish the card, I'm going to put a few little dots on. And these are just the in colour dots. I don't think they're available anymore. I think we've actually sold out, but I hadn't used any of the Shy Shamrock ones. So I thought, well, I can use Shy Shamrock, which I hadn't used much before. I'm using the dots just to sort of fill in the spaces, really, because I've got a space there that I didn't manage not to stick anything in. So do you know what? I think I might put a few here. Why not? I'll have a few dots around my flower as well. No reason why not. There we go. Fills in a bit of that space because I could have moved my flower over slightly on this one. But there we go. There is my very simple, quick aperture card. As I say, I've now got 2 of those, so I should perhaps make a few more because they're very useful to have. But they're so simple to make. Just choose whatever image you want. Choose an appropriate die to fit that image. And there, Bob's your uncle. You can very quickly make these cards. Now, I could do other things, like I could have put another layer around there. I could have rounded the corners. There's so many bits you can do on this if you wanted, but I just wanted to show you a really simple and quick aperture card. Because look at that, we've made it, and it's under half an hour, and I've made it from scratch, even with all the colouring I've done. So let me just tidy up a little bit here. And just remind you of the products I used, which were, for this card, the Charming Day Cling stamp set and the Nested Essential Dies. But as I said, any die, the stylish shapes in particular, work very well. They're even better in some ways because they actually provide a little dotted outline around this. I'm going to be using those, just as a little hint, I'm going to be using them in my Craftalong next week. So as I was mentioning about that, if you're signed up on my newsletter, which you can sign up for at craftycarolscards.co.uk, then you will get all the details you need to join me via Zoom. The Zoom link will be in the email for next Thursday. That is Thursday I think it's the 4th. Silly me, I haven't actually checked that. It's next Thursday. I think it's the 4th. Isn't the 2nd a Tuesday? Let me just go on my calendar and have a look and check the date. That was really stupid, wasn't it? Let me just check that. So next week is, yeah, Thursday the 4th. Honestly, don't know why I got completely mixed up with that one. That's ridiculous. Yeah, so next Thursday the 4th, it's at 11 o'clock in the morning via the Zoom link that you'll get on the email. You need to sign up before the weekend because my emails go out at weekends. And I would love to see you live on the Zoom. It means we can chat, which is nice. That Craftalong isn't recorded. I will be writing about the card we make in the blog, but there won't be a video to go with it. So if you want to actually learn how to make the card or ask any questions, then please do come along to that. And I'd love to see you. Thank you for joining me today. All of the measurements and the details for the card are in my blog, which will be published very, very soon, as soon as I finish this. And I will see you again very soon. Next Tuesday that's the 2nd of September, is my next Craft Live, and I hope to see you again then. Thanks for joining me today. I'm sorry there's nothing in the chat. It's either you haven't put anything in the chat or I haven't seen it, and I apologise if that's the case. But thanks for joining me today, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.